So I've been a full-time creator for about 2 years now, and I've bought a lot of gear over those 2 years. Some gear that I have that I use all the time, some I really rarely ever touch, but I just bought some new gear. So these are 5 pieces of gear that you need as a full-time or part-time content creator. And starting with my favorite, which is the DJI Mic 2s. I actually just bought these like a few weeks ago, and I gotta say, these are one of my favorite pieces of gear that I own right now. I actually used to use the old Rode Wireless Go 2s. As a matter of fact, I actually have those real quick. Here they are right here. And I love the Rodes, but I really just wanted to upgrade my system because for one, I lost one of these in Atlanta, so I'm only down to one. But then on top of that, the software that I use to get the audio off of these things is not a good software. So I was like, you know what? I think it's time to upgrade, especially since I'm doing more client work. And I gotta say, the DJI Mic 2s are probably the best mic on the market right now. So they come with the 2 mics, they come with a receiver, they come with its own charging case, they come with 2 windscreens, of course a 3.5 millimeter cable, and its own carrying case. And these mics ran me about $350 on Amazon. All the links will be in the description. But some of my favorite things about these mics is that you have 2 of them, so they can record to either mono or stereo. So you can have both of these recording on one audio channel, or you can have a stereo where it'll still be on the same track, but you can have it in 2 different sides. You can have one of them be on the left, one of them be on the right. These also have 8 gigabytes of internal storage. That is really, really good. I'm actually super happy about that, especially since you can actually just take one of the mics, turn it on, and hit the record button and just do a little voiceover or just record just like that. I've used this a lot when I do my voiceovers. This is like my new favorite voiceover mic versus when I was using my phone. I definitely like using these better. And the one thing I like too is that even if the signal were to cut out, the internal recording will still, of course, be saved. So another cool thing about these is the charging case. And I know y'all already know what AirPods are like. The way they charge, it's just like AirPods. You just put them in there, they magnetically connect, and they immediately start charging. With the case, you also get automatic pairing. So if you had a new mic and you wanted to pair it with your other microphone and the receiver, you just plop it in there. It also has a lock on the front, that way it can't just pop open. I love that. And you can also see how much charge it has on it. And it's not even that big and it's not even that heavy, so it definitely fits well in my camera bag. Probably one of the main highlights of the DJI mics though is the receiver. It actually has a touch screen on the front, and it has this little dial. If I had to compare it to something, I'd probably compare it to the Apple Watch dial. It works really similar, but the touch screen is so easy to use, and even though it's really small, it's still super easy to use. You have so many different receiver settings, so many different transmitter settings, so many different settings just of the system in general. These do have about a 6 to 7 hour battery life, pretty solid. And of course with the case, you have a whole bunch more time with that, probably a whole day. One of the cool little added features too that I like a lot is that if the receiver is not plugged into the camera, it'll show on the screen saying, hey, you don't have the adapter plugged in. And another cool thing that it has for people that do content on their phone, it comes with a USB Type-C and a lightning connector, and it actually can go on the back of the receiver, put one of the adapters on and then plug it into your phone, and then boom, you have a receiver for your phone or for your tablet. And I think that's such a cool feature to have. But probably my favorite feature about the DJI Mic 2s is that it has 32-bit audio. And if you're not sure what that is, 32-bit audio is almost like having raw audio. So if you have a raw photo or raw video, y'all know that you can pretty much manipulate almost everything about that photo or video. Pretty much the same with 32-bit audio. You can pretty much manipulate the audio however you want to a degree. And it's really helpful for me because if you follow my Instagram or if you're subscribed to the channel, you know that I do a lot of concert content. And of course, concerts are super loud because you got the people screaming at the top of their lungs, and then you have just the loudest speakers and the loudest subwoofers ever. To use these for a shoot and to use these in a setting where I can save the audio is super, super cool. So that's probably my favorite thing about these. I think every audio wireless mic system should have 32-bit audio. And I definitely will say you can use these mics for actual professional environments. I've used these for multiple podcasts that I filmed for different real estate agents, multiple things that I filmed for different business owners. And I will say these mics, they just do the job. They get the job done well and they look pretty professional. The only thing I say too is that these are a little bit on the thicker side. I think the Rodes were just a little bit thinner, so these do kind of protrude a little bit more. I think that's the only thing I'd say that I don't really like too much about these, but that's just one con. I still would go with these mics over any Rode. So definitely my favorite purchase right now. All right, and then another piece of gear that I've been using is the Small Rig Magic Arm / Magic Clamp. I actually bought this a few months ago, and I got it because one of my favorite YouTubers, his name is Siobhan Salmon, he said that he just bought this and it really helped him out a lot. So I decided I'd give it a try. For people that don't really like recording in public with like a big tripod and stuff like that, this is definitely the piece of gear that you need. It's just really low key. Like, you can honestly mount this thing anywhere. Like, it's fully articulating. The clamp is super strong. Like, I've rigged it to tripods, I've rigged it to the car, I've rigged it to, you know, just regular poles in the street. This thing is heavy duty. Like, it actually left a dent in one of my shelves, which was kind of crazy. I was like, dang, that thing can really be screwed down pretty tight. I love the content that people have been making with this, like a lot of the POV shots. Like, of course, the iPhone shot is probably like one of the most popular right now. This is really good for like BTS as well. Like, if you wanted to rig a GoPro or rig your phone. I actually did mine a little bit differently. I actually bought an Arca Swiss plate to go on top of this little mount right here. That way I could just slide my camera in and out and wouldn't really have to like screw it in and stuff like that. So definitely recommend getting an added Arca Swiss plate. And this clamp in total actually only ran me about $30, plus with the Arca Swiss plate it was probably close to about $50. It was, yeah, really cheap product for what it does, and it's super strong. You just have this little mount right here, then you can pretty much articulate it to whatever you want to do, and then you just really screw it down and get really tight. You can probably only put really small setups on here. I've seen people do a lot bigger, but I don't know, I just feel like it's safer to just do like maybe just your camera and then maybe a small prime lens and maybe a small like shotgun mic or even the DJI mic system, something like that. And I actually keep this in my camera bag now, and in case I need it. It's just really cool. You can get all types of different stuff with this. Like, another cool thing to do it in is like if you're at a restaurant or a coffee shop, and like I said, you don't want to have a big tripod, you could just clamp this to the table, put your camera up, and then boom, you have a pretty cool tripod style shot without having to have the big tripod with you and stuff like that. The only thing that I will say that I don't like about it is that like it's not really too many things on here that's really locking it down. It's really only this knob. It's easy, but it's a little bit iffy sometimes, so just definitely be careful to know the weight limit, but still definitely such a good purchase. The link is in the description. All right, and then the next thing I feel like that you just gotta have as a full-time or part-time creator is an external monitor. I'm actually using mine right now, and I actually used the Feel World 5.7-inch monitor. I'll give the exact name here. And this was only about $150 on Amazon. It came with the battery, it came with a shade, it came with a case, came with the cord as well. I've been using it for sports content, concert content. This is the monitor that I'm using. I am thinking about upgrading soon to the Atomos Shinobi 2 because I feel like that monitor is just a little bit better, a little bit more features, but this thing is super good as well. It does have a touchscreen display, preview my different LUTs. They have a waveform, there's zebras, there's focus peaking, has custom buttons, and it does have different mounting threads on the bottom and on the side. Like most monitors, you just use the Sony NPF batteries to power it. It also has a battery section laid out in case you wanted to use a wireless transmitter. One thing I will say about using monitors, definitely make sure you get a good quality HDMI cord. I just have one that literally broke, and it almost broke my entire HDMI port on my camera. So definitely make sure you have a good HDMI cord. As a hybrid videographer, I was really against it. I thought the screen on the camera was just enough to do what I wanted to do, but really to have a better and bigger view of what you're actually like filming right then and there is super important. I don't know how I made it this far without having one. So yeah, I don't care if it's an expensive one or if it's a cheap one, you gotta have an external monitor. All right, so my fourth piece of gear is the Small Rig multi-tool. If you don't know what a multi-tool is, it's almost like having a Swiss Army knife, except it's things that you can use for your camera stuff. And I actually bought one of these because recently I've been doing a lot of like audio visual crew work, and on the job I have to rig a lot of cameras together, you know, put on a lot of tripod plates, you know, take down stuff and put together rigs and stuff like that. But these are definitely like one of the key essentials to my camera bag. I don't know how I made it this far without having one. They have different size Allen keys. Of course, you got your Phillip head, and then of course you got your flat head for your tripod plates. Pretty much covers everything that I need to screw down or take off or put together. So definitely something that you gotta have. This is just a little like $12 one from Small Rig. There's like other better ones. Shout out to my homie Ronan. He has this like really cool one where it actually locks to like different angles and stuff like that. Cool thing about it is that this is TSA friendly. Right now, for the fifth and final piece of gear is the Crucial solid state drive. If you're not familiar with a solid state drive, pretty much it's just a hard drive except a little bit smaller and a lot faster. I've actually been using Crucial SSDs for a long time, ever since I started my journey. These are actually their new SSDs. Their old ones used to look a little bit different. I'll actually show you real quick. These are their old SSDs, and you can see they're a lot bigger. This is the 512 gigabyte one, and this is I think the 4 terabyte one. But now this is the 1 terabyte one, and it's still smaller, than the 512 one. So they've really done a good job with just upgrading and updating their products. Shout out to them. This thing is super fast. I think this reads at about 1,050 megabytes per second, which is really cool. Like I think I will like dump footage from like a 80 gigabyte shoot and it'll pretty much have it done in like 5 minutes. Like it's crazy. Like definitely got to have an SSD if you're a content creator or if you're just working in video or media in general. I think I have about 4 of these and all of them are almost like fully maxed out already. All right guys, that's pretty much everything I wanted to show you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure you go follow my Instagram at PTQIV4. I do a lot of my behind the scenes stuff and show a lot of my work that I don't show on YouTube on there. And again, the links to all these gears in the description below. And definitely make sure to like, subscribe, and definitely make sure to comment. We'd love to see what gear y'all are using these days, and definitely make sure to go out there and start creating. And as always, stay blessed.